This will either go really well or really bad. Hi! Today I want to make something a little bit different. I want to show you a little bit of my logo creation process, but also I want to show you that you can make a logo out of anything. And for that reason, I'm gonna call my mom and ask her two random words. I don't know which words will be. And we're gonna build from there.
Oi, filhote.
Oi, mãe, tudo bom?
Tudo? Como é que tá?
Tudo bem contigo?
Tudo bem.
Tá ocupada?
Não, tava assistindo TV, pode falar.
Eu preciso que tu me diga duas palavras. As duas primeiras palavras que vierem na tua cabeça. Qualquer palavra.
Duas primeiras palavras que vem na minha cabeça, qualquer palavra.
Isso.
Chocolate e... Vinho?
Vinho?
Vinho? Chocolate com vinho não existe.
Chocolate com vinho? Pode ser?
Comer um chocolate, tomar um vinho é fantástico.
Pode ser? Eu tô te gravando agora, sabia? Tu vai aparecer no vídeo. Tô com a câmera na minha frente aqui.
O quê? Não, eu tô derrubando. Não!
É uma chamada de telefone, mulher, tu não tá aparecendo. Só tua voz.
Tá. É, tá certo. Eita, velho. Tá bom.
Valeu. Beijo.
Beijo, querido. Boa tarde.
Tchau, pra ti também.
Fica bem, se cuida.
Tu também. So, wine and chocolate it is. Let's get to work. Oh, and I know it's not that hard. I mean, wine and chocolate, but I did say that it could go really well, so whatever. Alright, we're gonna start this whole thing by looking for some references and creating a mood board. You should always start by making a mood board. I like to start my searches in Dribbble because it is a place focused on design and I can easily find high quality material. We should also be aware of what we're looking for. We're not simply selecting pretty images that we will combine to make a logo Frankenstein. During my reference researches, I keep an eye for trends and patterns inside the specific niche or market segment we're looking into. These could be colors, elements, shapes and fonts, or even a general visual language that's being spoken inside the specific niche. It's important to keep in mind that we want to stand out from other brands, but still be recognizable as a brand that belongs to our segment. After Dribbble, you can see that I jumped into Pinterest, which is always the second place I research into for its wide diversity of content. The problem with Pinterest is that you get tons of uninteresting stock images, but we can just ignore them and keep on. It's also worth noting that I'm not selecting every image for the same reasons. Some of them are because I like the colors, while others might have given me some kind of insight or idea. There's just not enough time to explain every single insight that I have in a single video. So in the end, after looking into Pinterest, I decided that I had enough references and this is what my mood board looks like. You can definitely see that I spotted a trend for white space going on, and we might explore that a little bit. Quick note, take your time researching for references. The more you look into it, the more you'll expand your mental visual library for that specific segment, and the more solid will be your foundation when creating. This can come in hand in the future, when you might have to justify certain design choices for your client. I also created a few color palettes. I looked into places like Adobe Color, Color Lovers, and Color Hunt, but I have tweaked to my liking most of the colors. None of these are commitments. We'll test them and see what works best as we go along. Next, it was time to sketch out some ideas. I tried to combine in some way the elements of wine and chocolate, but it was not working out greatly. I was sketching late at night and my creativity was reaching its limits. When I decided to experiment with white space, things went a little bit better and I came up with this idea of combining the chocolate melting with the bottle of wine, and I ended up liking it a lot actually. But I did find it a little bit too narrow and tall, so I tried to reverse the white space and put everything inside of a big box, and then I liked it even better. Even though I had sketched just a few ideas at this point, I had a really good feeling about this one, so I decided to just go with it. Okay, it is a brand new day, and now that I'm done with the sketches, I'm gonna pick my favorite one, import it into Illustrator, and continue working there. I'm thinking that because of the overall shape of the sketch, it might be a good bet to try and use some golden ratio or something like that to spice things up a little bit. But we'll see how it goes. Back to work now. Hey, Andy from the future here. I lost some good 2 to 3 hours working on this, and the footage was way too long and way too messy, so instead I'm gonna break it down in a way that's easier for you to understand. First, after importing the selected sketch into Illustrator, I created these circles using the golden ratio. They will be the foundation to most of our design decisions from now on. Then I divided the sketch horizontally using the golden circles and then marked the divisions with guides. Here we already defined the size of the bottle and the space on the sides. What's most interesting here is that the bottle will be placed right on the thirds of the square, even though that was not a conscious decision. Working with golden ratio more often than not leads us to these happy little accidents. Since our shape is in the form of a perfect square, by defining the horizontal size, we also define the vertical size. So I just created a square and marked the top and bottom guides. After that, I defined the height of the bottom part of the bottle using one of the circles and added another guide to mark it. A bigger circle marks the label height, and then I place another guide to mark it. Lastly, the same circle of the bottom defines the bottleneck size, both height and width, and the guides mark them accordingly. Then I started working on the neck curvature. This first circle defines the curve in because it is curving to the inside of the bottle, and then these two defines the curve out because they curve towards the outside of the bottle. These two giant circles are placed to provide the curvature of the label bending around the bottle. At this point, I realized it would look good if our bottle was just slightly rotated in a way in which we could see the side of the label. So, with another circle, I defined the distance between the end of the label and the edge of the bottle, and marked it with our last guide. Now we're off to create the drips. Starting with the bigger one, I drew this circle to define the wider part of the drip, and then these two to define the narrower part. The bigger circle was just to calculate the distance between the wide and the narrow part. The curve between these two parts was defined by these two big circles, and the curve that connects the drip to the top of the label with these smaller ones. The smaller drip would be too much of a trouble to create using the circles, so I decided to just hand draw it. Lastly, I used these small circles to round the corners. Now I'll hide the sketch and the guides so we can see our circle Frankenstein in all its glory. After all this mess positioning the golden circles, I grouped everything, reduced the opacity, locked the layer, and then drew on top of it using basic shapes such as circles, rectangles, and also using the pen tool. I prefer to do it by hand rather than using the shape builder tool because the shape builder can create some weird anchor points and I don't like it very much. And this is our final result. Okay, back to me for a second because I want to teach you a lesson now. There was I with my logo all finished up with all those beautiful golden circles all stacked up, all aligned, looking almost heavenly. But then I hit the circles and I hit the guides and I didn't like it. I don't know, it was looking weird. The drips were kind of off, they were unnatural, they were lacking some sort of connection between them. The curvature of the label was also kind of weird, it was looking a little bit crooked. Okay, Andy, you might ask now. So what did you do to fix it? Well, I trusted my eyes. And this is the big lesson. Trust your eyes. Trust them more than you trust any guide, any grid, any golden ratio or whatever. It doesn't matter if all the math in your design is perfect, if all your shapes are perfectly aligned to your grid. If you look at your design and it is looking weird, it's not good at all. These things like grids and golden ratio, they're made to help you, not to hold you back. So if you look at your design and it is looking weird, trust your eyes. Step outside the grid, no fear. Okay, back to Illustrator now. I actually didn't do a whole bunch of changes in this because overall it is looking nice. But I really let go of the golden ratio and just eyeballed everything. I pushed the drips closer together, looking a little bit more like the sketch. The drips being closer together created a better sense of connection, and honestly, it just looks better. That's the thing with trusting your eyes. Sometimes you don't know consciously why it looks better, but your eyes say it does, so you trust them. I also made some changes in the bottom curvature of the label. It was looking a little out of perspective, and increased the smaller drip size because it was kinda hard to see it in smaller sizes. And this is the final result. It's not a whole world of difference, but I think it's really more pleasing now. For the typography, I wanted something bold and geometric, so I went with Montserrat. It is a typeface that's dear to my heart and I've used it on many occasions. It is inspired by the old posters and signs of the traditional Montserrat neighborhood in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and was developed by Julieta Ulanovsky. Its strong and geometric shapes fitted like a glove for this project. It is a typeface that has a lot of character and presence, and thinking that both wine and chocolate are things with really complex taste layers, it seemed like a fitting choice. For the text size and the spacings, I used once again the golden circles. Now to the colors. Deciding which colors in general I would use in this project was not the toughest part. Finding the right shades and tints was. I knew I wanted earthy colors for obvious reasons, but I didn't want it to be so obvious as purple and brown. I went through so many color palettes until finally I landed on this one. The symbol color has this deep dark purple with a little red on the mix, and the text color uses this rich and also very deep red that reminds me so much of red wine. To go along with these two very dark colors, I added these two secondary colors to give a little freshness to the brand. They could be used on backgrounds or headers, as they're there just to add a little light inside the mix. So, how did you like this whole thing? Because I surely did, but you know, I was the one who created it, so I don't know if my opinion counts. Would you do something different with this logo? If so, tell me in the comments. But now, there's one more person that needs to give her approval on this. And I'm gonna give her a call now.
Fala, filho.
Oi mãe, tudo bom?
Como é que tá, querido? Tudo bom?
Tudo bem contigo?
Tudo bom, graças a Deus, tudo tranquilo.
Que bom.
Ah,
Preciso de ti mais uma vez aqui.
fala.
Eu já fiz o logo ali e tudo. E quero que tu me diga o que tu acha.
Tu sabe o que eu vou dizer?
Pode.
Eu não entendo muito, mas... Vou dar um óculos, eu não vou enxergar nada.
Tá bom.
André. Ah, tu botou? Eu achei que tu ia pegar outras palavras.
Não, usei aquelas palavras ali mesmo.
Tá legal, gostei. Eu acho que tá legal.
Gostou?
Eu gostei.
O que tu achou
Eu não
das...
entendo muito de logo, de coisa dele, mas eu acho que ficou bem legal.
É? Gostou das cores?
Gostei das cores. Gostei muito das cores.
Que nota
Eu
tu...
acho que ficou bem harmônica as cores.
É.
Uhum.
Ah, que bom. E que nota tu dá de 0 a 10?
Posso 11?
Pode, pode dar 11 sim.
Tá muito legal. Não, eu achei que tu ia escolher outras palavras.
Não, não.
Se gostou do vídeo, curta e se inscreva no canal.
Isso aí. Obrigado pela tua ajuda.
Nada, filho.
Tchau.
Bom trabalho.
Obrigado. Beijo. Tchau.
Beijo, querido. Tchau.
So, if my mom liked it, to me, it's already perfect. And you heard the message. If you enjoyed the video, please leave your like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for staying with me. And I see you on the next video. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to give your mom a call, okay?